salutes the heroes.
To our next guest right now, an amazing story. And also sitting next to him, may I say, is the officer who was his leader at that point of time. First to the officer himself, Major Amitendra Kumar Singh, Shaurya Chakra for operation in Oberoi Trident Hotel on 26/11/2008. At that point of time, Major Singh, you were deployed to the Special Action Group. We've all seen 26/11. We all imagined what the bravery that men like you have shown at that point of time. And before I tell the story of Major Singh, may I just say, he saved so many hostages. He was involved in a straight firefight. They used grenades to blast the doors off, if I'm not mistaken. In the process, you got injured, you lost an eye, but eventually that operation was completed with both the terrorists killed. Major Singh, here is your story.
We can just see that one floor, the top floor, up in flames.
26/11. 3 years back, Mumbai was under siege. An unprecedented event of an urban war required men who are trained for unpredictable combat. Here is the story of one such soldier, Major A.K. Singh.
When we reached Hotel Trident and Oberoi in the morning, we were briefed about the situation from the Marcos and the hotel staff. Since there was no possibility to make any kind of movement through the main entrance, so we moved upwards using the fire exit routes. 3 hits. We were searching this 18th floor. When the troops searched the third last room and were moving towards the second last room, from that second last room, one terrorist ran outside and sprinkled burst fire towards our boys.
The mission was accomplished with many hostages rescued. Decorated with Shaurya Chakra, Major A.K. Singh continues to serve the Indian Army.
See, in building intervention operations, in the type of operation that was done in 26/11, the training caters for quick reactions, for going into a building where unforeseen things can come up. And that is where the cool mind, the way a person can conduct the operation counts. And in this particular case, one can say, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. And A.K. Singh is the person who led the operation so well. He not only got the terrorists, he evacuated people who were injured, despite suffering injuries to his own eyes. I think it has been a stupendous effort.
Major A.K. Singh, clearly an exceptional act of valor. But as we have heard about the entire operations of 26/11, each man who went in was exceptional. How was, in your understanding of things, how do you feel that you were driven more than the others to go out and do more? You've even lost an eye in the operations. What was your single driving force at that point of time? इज्जत, निशान, रेजिमेंट का नाम, जवानों की और खुद की हिफाजत, all that is important. But what was pushing you further? What was pushing you further than the others? Because not everybody came out as exceptional as you do.
I would like to put it again for everybody's knowledge that whosoever went inside Hotel Oberoi / Nariman / Hotel Taj, they were really a true heroes, and it was just a matter of opportunity for me, which I got in Hotel Oberoi, being part of the team as a sniper officer, that I went inside Hotel Oberoi and I participated in this operation. So in this operation, basically what you said, the Naam, Namak and Nishan, it was the izzat of the unit, the pride of the nation, and as General said, what will your men think of if something goes wrong?
you have to show face to your unit, you have to show face to your men. So that thing keeps you motivated for doing anything or in any kind of difficult situation.
Tell me, Major Singh, you were going, I am told, you were going door to door. You were also telling the hostages to open the doors. And the hostages were inside, they were afraid, they were frightened. They would not open the door because they didn't know it was you and your men. It could have been a terrorist. Take me through those tense moments, or at least a part of those tense moments. And take me through the moment and what went through your mind when you were eventually face to face with these terrorists. What happened then?
It was when we reached the top floor, 21st floor in Hotel Oberoi, and even once we entered the corridor, there was a pin drop silence inside, and each floor had got 37 rooms, and we had to clear each and every room to ensure that no terrorist is left behind in any of the rooms. So we were making all our endeavors, and as per the drills which we have been imparted in our unit, that is 51 Special Action Group, we were using the master key to open each of these doors and clearing the hostages. But there were many rooms which were not being opened by these master keys since they were blocked from inside. So we are requesting to the people inside, please open the door, we are here to save you, we are police, we are from NSG. We are telling them very briefly and very silently. If somebody was opening the door, then he was taken to a safe room. Otherwise, the door was blasted off after putting the explosive, and the room was searched according to the drill, according to the training with what we had got in our regiment, in our battalion. And it was like after searching the whole 21st floor, 20th floor, 19th, and it was around 4:45 on 27th that we made our first contact when we were on the 18th floor and we were searching third last room. So one of the terrorists, he was hiding inside the second last room which was left in that floor. He ran outside and he just fired on one of our hits. So that's how we located and made first contact with these terrorists, and after that we just spread out and we just located him, and the firefight began after that.
Incredible. Major Singh. A round of applause for Major Amitendra Kumar Singh. What an incredible story. A Shaurya Chakra, of course, but this nation is indebted to young officers like you and your leader. I'm sure a very proud leader in that operation, a hero himself, Colonel Sunil Sharon. We heard your story a little while earlier. You too are a selfless soldier and a leader. Tell me about that particular operation, 2611, because you were the CEO of that unit. My question to you is, such a difficult situation. Every officer who goes in, he knows that death could possibly face him. It's not the terrain you're prepared for, you're trained for. What is your motivation?
Arnab, I have been in 15 years in special units in the parachute regiment, done operations what others have done. NSG, as the pillars was raised by General Qadian, we have to realize that it's an intervention unit specialist. I have men coming from army from all the regiments. The psyche from survivor to savior is the biggest challenge for me to convert, because these operations are for the hostages, for the normal civilians, which in other cases is more or less not the case. Here the man has to actually go through the funnel of death. We call that the door. You have to cross that in the minimum possible time. That's why it's called a funnel of death. You can call it funnel of guts or anything, because it has to be crossed. If you don't cross it, you will lose that civilian. Now the mission is this hostage. In 2611, I was spread out at 3 places. My teams were spread out at all 3 places. I was calm because Nariman was being handled by my second in command, and the Oberoi was being handled by the squadron commander, who was actually the third in command also. I myself was in Taj. the boys did what they were taught, with an exception. The rooms, 1800 rooms, 1200 rooms in both the places, basements, localizing of the terrorists not known. In Taj, 4 terrorists, 2 terrorists out here. Nariman was a smaller but a different situation. Oberoi, you got them in the room. Taj, they got us in the corridor, we cornered them to one side. We got them in the last. If this is the room and you have a hostage situation, I have full information. The initiative is with me, when, where, how to enter. When you are given a larger thing with the smaller units, smaller specialized men, the initiative subtly goes to the terrorist. In that, the only thing is take out as many technically hostages now, because people have gone into their rooms, which they were doing it. In the bargain, if you have a contact, don't lose it, corner them, take them out. That is what exactly the boys did it in Oberoi, and he was leading them. The same thing happened in Taj, where Major Unni Krishan actually made a contact, and after that they were cornered to the. So this is a very different situation.
Yes.
Here the psychology of a intervention unit is totally different. All forces of the world maintain a separate intervention unit because of the equipment profile,
Yes.
because of the psychology. That has to be going.
May I ask you something? I ask both of you actually, because that's an operation we all saw, When you flew from Delhi, I'm told all of you were called in from Delhi. When you were flying from Delhi and you know the whole nation, the entire nation is resting its hopes on you and your men. How did you inspire yourself at that point of time, when you were taking the flight and before you split up into separate units? Would you like to take that?
Initially when we had gone, the situation was at 2 places. The third, it's a fluid situation which keeps. The Nariman house came at afterwards. So the most important thing is to brief men, and those 2 hours in flight was the longest time as a commanding officer I had.
What did you tell them?
Small drills, when you don't, your trigger is your mind, it's not your finger. If you don't, in a firefight also, if you don't see a weapon, please don't shoot, because there will be a chaos. There will be a chaos. That is why the intervention operations they are taught is the most high risk operation to the limbs and the life. Take any hostage situation, the team commander, the junior leader is the first one to go, lose his life. Take any operation. And he is the only man at the funnel of the death, the commando.
Do you encounter fear, Major Singh? Do you encounter fear in that situation?
Definitely yes, but it was definitely overcome by the confidence which you had got in your weapon, in your training, which was being imparted to you in the unit.
I must tell this, these are the beliefs which are imparted in the unit to them. There are 6 beliefs. The first one is the belief that the unit in which you are is the best in the nation for the task which you are into. Second, the belief in your weapon and the equipment is the best of the world. Third, the belief that they are the best to handle those weapons and equipment. The fourth one, his buddy is equally and more proficient in handling those weapons and equipment. Fifth is the supporting units, the team which are supporting this operation. They will deliver when it is required at the funnel of death what you want.
Absolutely.
And lastly, the belief what decisions that man takes inside, he is cut from the outside, will be stood by.
Yes.
So these things, when you instill in them, it always gets on to you.
But
truly special
incredible story.
And you no doubt earn your title many times over of Special
Absolutely.
Forces.
To
Please give them a
Colonel
good hand.
Sunil Sharon and Major Amitendra Kumar Singh. We are so proud of you. May those on the other side learn their lesson. I want to go across to our last guest today, Squadron Leader Tarun Kumar Chaudhary. We heard a story earlier about piracy. This too is a story of a kind that is in a situation that India faces today, the threat of Maoist terror. Squadron leader Tarun Kumar Chaudhary has won the Shaurya Chakra for saving people on board his helicopter during a Naxal attack in Chhattisgarh. Here is the story, incredible story of what happened in Jagdalpur with squadron leader Tarun Kumar Chaudhary.
The sky is no limit for this Air Force pilot. And on November 8, 2008, squadron leader T.K. Chaudhary proved that he is a man of limitless courage.
We were detailed to undertake this task for the state government of Chhattisgarh, which involved the election duties in which we had to take police personnel, drop them at the specified helipads. Target was to finish all the collection of voting machines by 4 o'clock. However, the helicopter got unserviceable. We had got information of Naxalite attack on 3 of the helipads. We picked up the voting machines with the casualty, then the second and then the last helipad at which the incident occurred. After taking the 2 casualties while taking off, my helicopter came under extensive fire from the ground by Naxalites. I took the decision of flying for 1 hour in dark night and land back at Jagdalpur.
Awarded the Shaurya Chakra for his act of valor, squadron leader T.K. Chaudhary wears the spirit of an air warrior on his sleeve.
Well, in my view, it was a very tough mission to be in a hostile area with the anti-national elements surrounded, and sometime late in the evening. And you have the situation of this helicopter being shot upon with a lot of damage to the main rotor, to the fuel tank and to the tail rotor. And unfortunately, one of our boys died in that helicopter because of this firing. So under these adverse circumstances, this boy has done a wonderful job. He's not panicked. He's he could have actually put the aircraft down there and exposed all the others to the murderous fire. But he elected to fly this crippled helicopter back to base and thereby saving all these lives. So we all think it's a very extraordinary feat which is performed under some very stressful conditions.
May I just say this? Squadron leader Tarun Kumar Chaudhary, first of all, a round of applause to you. And I want to say this, that when journalists like us and when to all our viewers we hear that there has been a peaceful and successful election and we are proud of being the world's greatest democracy, sometimes in the most hostile of conditions, it is men like you who have made it possible. You were carrying electronic voting machines and election commission officials. So thank you for safeguarding, first of all, our democracy. Thank you so much indeed. This happened in November 2008. Tell me, what happened in that situation? It's a completely unexpected attack. In that situation, how did it all happen?
I have been facing these kind of situations since 2004. I have been going with my previous unit, the Desert Hawks. I had been going there and I have had these kind of situations before, but however was lucky enough never to get hit directly by the Naxalite attacks. So on the eventful day when this happened, the helicopter was unserviceable and we were told to collect the voting machines. The aircraft was down. We gave a call to Jagdalpur. They sent us the helicopter with the tradesmen. He rectified it. It was 4 o'clock in the evening and 5:15 is the sunset. So we are supposed to land back from hill flying by 1 hour before sunset and in normal circumstances. So there was a call at that time by the SP that there have been casualties and 2 helipads and you have to pick up these casualties. So that was the time when we regrouped as a crew. My co-pilot late Flight Lieutenant Tomar, my flight engineer late Sergeant Mustafa Ali, he is also Shaurya Chakra, and my flight gunner Sergeant Raut. And we are highly trained in our training institutions, and we have that thing in the crew resource management, because at any stage anyone says no sir, then it's no sir. So as a typical briefing, it took just 2 minutes that we will be going here flying low level and we will be picking up, and in the end I laughed and said, yaar goli lag sakti hai. So my flight engineer at that time said, sir marna hai to marenge, marne se pehle nahi marenge. We will. That was the thing in him as a flight engineer, that he said, because he is the chap who sits between the captain and the co-pilot. He is a chap who flies without controls. He sees everything ahead. He sees the entire action in front of him, but he just advises me and takes care of the engines and the aircraft in the pure technical manner. So when we took off for the helipad, it was about like getting dark or so. So that was the time we were flying. We went to the first helipad, picked up the casualties, came to the second helipad, picked up the voting machines. At the third helipad, which was actually not a helipad, it was just a clearing on ground, we somehow managed to put down the aircraft. So what I would like to inform is in the background of it, the helipad was actually sanitized when we got the information that there is no Naxalite attack on it. But by the time we took off and we were en route, that is the time when there was a big ambush. There were around 50 people on the helipad, and there must have been more than 2,000 Naxalites who had attacked it. They were sitting on top of the trees and they were just going on firing. So that was the time when I landed on the helipad. I picked up the casualty voting machines, and when I was about to take off, I said to my flight engineer, see, because this is one thing which we will realize that while being in a situation, we have to be technically sound also, because we are flying a machine. And that was the time when I said, when my flight gunner said, okay, sir, I think so we might be overloaded. So I said, okay, I'll pick up the aircraft and we'll see, because then we have no option, because if it's overloaded, we'll have to drop the load. So the moment we were taking off, the helipad has trees around it, a height of around say 20 meters. So the moment I crossed the first tree line, is the time a flight engineer said, sir, I think so, I just checked the fuel. And the next second he turns his head to check the fuel, and there is a blast in the cockpit. So the next thing I see is that the entire canopy is strewn with blood and all facial features, and a part of this entire flesh has come on me. And in a fraction I find his head is not there, it's missing. And he fell down on the controls, the aircraft came almost on the trees. So that time the gunner started telling me, sir, goliyan chal rahi hai, goliyan. That was the first time I actually realized that when we do range firing and we do target practice fire, we sit very comfortable in fire bullets. But as per statistics, that was the time it clicked to me that the bullet is supersonic. First you get the hit, then you hear the sound. So that was the time when I realized, okay, I was like one sound coming of the metal being placed in the helicopter, and then the burst of the sound coming. So then my gunner kept telling me from behind, ki, sir, Naxalites are sitting on the treetop and they are firing on us. The decision was taken on ground that we will continue and we will go ahead and we will clear the area. This was one point of time when my flight, my co-pilot told me, ki, sir, should we go to the next helipad, which is 8 minutes? Because that time I had that thing that I have been badly hit. I really didn't know what was wrong. So I said, no boss, we will continue, we will go to Jagdalpur. He said, sir, we are getting dark. So I took the decision and I climbed up. So the gunner said, sir, there I can see open patches. So that is the time I could have actually landed the aircraft, because I knew my systems are working as of now. Mild vibrations and I can land. I as a waiter, as a soldier will immediately evacuate. But what about these 15 guys?
Yep.
With a casualty in the middle of jungle.
Yep.
And the Naxalites will see it coming down and they will come after us. So that is the time I went to I flew by dark night, and at that time closing to Jagdalpur, then came the teamwork part, because at that time I was so exhausted and I was so fatigued because there was blood and the systems, half of the systems had actually failed, and I didn't have a flight engineer, because without a flight engineer you would realize that in this kind of aircraft you can't reach all the switches. So this was the time my co-pilot said, sir, I'll take on controls, I loosen my straps, so that in case there is some system failure I can reach to the switches. I said, okay, we'll land next to a road. And on ground, Wing Commander Yadav, he was the detachment commander for Chetaks. I flicked my landing light. He said, I can see your landing light. Come over the ALG, you will find one Chetak helicopter with an anti-call light flashing. So I came over a dark patch of land, I found that, and he said, okay, Chao, you can see there are 4 jeeps on an ALG. Be careful for tall trees next to the approach, because no one has done a conventional landing there. So I told my co-pilot, okay, we'll go for landing this time. So when we came down for landing, before touching the ground, he cautioned me, sir, agar tire fata hai, then we will topple. Because there are issues that I cannot, because in this time I have to keep my thing on. So the moment I landed on ground, there was a chaos on ground. Everybody was making action to switch off the aircraft. So I realized something is wrong, but it can't be this wrong. So I switched off the aircraft. The moment I came out, the first question Wing Commander Yadav asked me, kuch umeed hai? Maine kaha, sir, he doesn't have a head. So he got the answer. And when I came out of the aircraft, I saw there were more than 40 bullet hits. My fuel tank was burst. Fuel was almost at the end of it. My 2 rotor blades were broken. My electrical boxes were gone. My tail was badly battered. My engine had taken bullet hits. In fact, thank the Russians for making such a robust machine. The bullets fell down next to the engine. And around 60 grazings around the helicopter, and the machine flew well.
Well,
And at the end of it, my co-pilot came and I said, "Ki boss, Baghi Safety ka goli aayi kahan se?" That was the time we realized the first bullet came under the co-pilot seat, ricocheted from his seat, and then took the engineer from the head and took away. So that was the end of it.
What a story. And when sometimes we hear it only in the postscript. When we hear it from you, it's so riveting. Round of applause for squad leader Tarun Chaudhary. Incredible, isn't it? Maru. These are such stories that we have heard each and every account from our incredible soldiers here. I want to thank each and every one of you for coming. I wonder when you hear each other's stories how you relate to them, because each of you is trained in a certain way, but each story is so unique in its own way. General Qadian, you wanted to come in. You want to say something to them?
One trait that stands out in all of them is modesty.
Yes.
In fact, this was exemplified by Air Chief Marshal Fali Major, who in his historic rescue mission of Parvanu, when he was describing, he gave all the credit to Captain Cresto.
Absolutely.
It was exemplified by Brigadier Kuldeep Chandpuri,
Absolutely.
who said his was a defensive action and Major Balwan's offensive action was much more difficult.
Yes.
Second point I want to make is, in fact, two more points. One, history never faithfully can record or does record the actual events.
Yes.
Here the stories that these heroes have narrated sound so simple that this was the only thing you could have done and he did it.
Yeah.
But at that time what goes through in the leader's mind is a bundle of conflicts.
Yes.
He has the worry of doing the task. He is the very special in special operations to protect the lives of the hostages. He has to protect the life of his own men. He has to protect and safeguard the izzat of his unit and the country.
Yeah.
I go away with two thoughts. One is the reassurance that this kind of heroes in our defense forces, their future is safe.
Absolutely.
Also,
Yes, we do.
our country can rest assured that they will defend the country, they will stand by the country in whatever form.
Absolutely.
Second, and I am saying that in all seriousness, I go back with the level of inspiration that if I were permitted by the rules today, I would like to go back to the academy as a cadet.
Oh yes, absolutely. And that is the whole idea, to inspire more and more heroes like them. Brigadier Chandpuri, do you also go back with the assurance after this show that the country is in incredible hands? You feel the country is safe and in incredible hands as you hear these stories. What did you feel?
I think these heroes, I think they have narrated their stories. We want people, youngsters like them. They are the future custodian of this nation, and I think we should feel pride, as very rightly said by General Qadian. The history says, the military history says, most of the awardees have not risen to very high ranks in the armed forces. I don't know what are the reasons. They are very modest people. They are brave people. Their careers have to be looked, and it is the duty of the nation to look after all these young soldiers who have sacrificed their lives for fighting for the nation.
Absolutely. And what I go away with is, and I must say this personally, that when we deal with the news, we find so many stories of bitterness and cynicism. Always. People tell us, why is the news always so gloomy? But today I have occasion to really believe that there is so much positive energy in all of you today. Isn't that the real story, Maru?
Absolutely.
That's the takeaway for me.
I always reassure concerned officers in the defense headquarters that what kind of coverage would the media give to the military, and I say there is so much of good news to bring out about the military and its operational efficiency and its commitment, that why should we go looking for negative aspects. And I think two things have stood out very clearly in all their personal accounts. One is the esprit de corps and the level of commitment to the regimental or the corps or the services izzat, and how they will commit and how their commitment will emerge as a source of inspiration to others around them.
Absolutely.
And the second thing is, and which is full marks to our training establishments, is the level of training and is the level of total commitment to service beyond self is what is inspiring enough for each of them to go beyond the call of duty, and certainly to do what many others would probably have read about or seen in films, but these are our real heroes.
Yes, Air Marshal Major, you wanted to add something there. Please, go ahead.
Arnab, these fantastic men from the three services sitting in front of us who have done deeds which are over and above the call of duty and even some people's imagination. I just want to add one thing, that in today's warfare, unlike the Second World War or the conventional wars which we have fought earlier, the battles or the conflict zone itself has become so complicated for our young men here that there are no identified borders. There are no lines of control in operations like some of them done, piracy, Naxalites. And therefore, in these circumstances, the decision making of a person on the spot, like this young captain who took a decision, or somebody in piracy, or the pilot here, this adds to the dilemma of a man in uniform today.
Yeah.
And we must respect this, because he's not fighting a conventional battle all the time. He's fighting situations and combating situations which are evolving and emerging as he goes into action.
Okay.
And
Absolutely.
all the more reason that we need to actually compliment these people who in some way or the other have carried out this duty with great valor and with great respect to the country.
Colonel Thapar, do you think it will inspire, yes, General Thapar, do you think it will inspire more people to join the forces? Because we often hear that we need better and better talent, better and better men to join the forces.
I do hope it does, and at the same time I would like to compliment Times Now for getting off the beaten path, running after the TRPs as it is becoming the fashion today, and organize a thing like this for the benefit of the viewers across, and I'm sure millions of them would be watching it on 15th of August and draw some inspiration, and of course your point that more and more would like to join the armed forces.
Absolutely. Well, we hope it does. Do you think it will, Colonel Thapar?
It most certainly will. Things have improved largely in the army. I went to some units now. Where it has not improved is in the civil environment, where Izzat is being hurt.
Yes.
At each and every place.
Yes.
So that's where I would like to just say two lines.
Please.
Just quote two lines.
Please.
Remember us. Remember why we died. Remember us. Remember why we died. Go tell the Spartans, O passerby, by Spartan laws we died.
Yes.
Okay. So these men, these heroes are here with us. There are a lot of heroes who in the dust and din of the battle, they have gone unnoticed.
Absolutely.
Lots and lots
Yes,
of them.
of course.
So for them also today, we must give a clap.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely, sir.
And in the end, I would like to say, if a man is looking for a he-man's career, it is in the army.
Oh yes, absolutely. We take that. We take that from you. A last word to General Jacob. Please go ahead.
These are living heroes. What about those who are no longer with us? Do we have a national war memorial? Do we honor our dead? Do we honor our martyrs? I'm sorry, we don't. We do not have a national war memorial. Can you believe it? Go around the world, Russia, anywhere else, they honor their dead, America, Philippines, anywhere. But we have no national war memorial. Karam promised to do it when he came to see me, and that's it. We built one in Chandigarh for the Punjab. There were 56,000 names there, but no national memorial. And the other part I want to re-stress is Izzat. The soldier needs Izzat.
Yes.
Please give him the Izzat he deserves.
General Jacob, thank you very much. And to all our participants, to all our esteemed guests, thank you very much for restoring our faith that beyond everything else, we are a great nation with the greatest of soldiers. Thank you very much for allowing us this privilege of being with you today. From Maruf, me, the entire team at Times Now, which holds our forces in the highest of esteem, thank you very much. May I please request you to join us now for a group photograph here. Thank you. Thank you very much.